GarageBand for iOS has just been updated to version 2.3.18. So in this video, we're going to break down each and every one of the new stability improvements, bug fixes, and updates. If you want just the facts, you can check out my short video where I cover the top 10 changes if you just want to know what's going down that might impact you the most. But I know some of you are completionists and you'd like to see absolutely everything and maybe get my take on it as well. Welcome into Studio Live today. My name's Pete Johns. Hit the thumbs up button, do all the YouTube things, make sure you're subscribed because we help you around here. My goal is to help you create, record, and release your best music. Let's dive in here. We've got a bunch of dot points to get to and we're going to take them one by one. By the way, this list of points is available in the link down in the description as well. Let's talk stability and reliability. Yes, GarageBand will no longer become unresponsive or quit unexpectedly after dragging an audio region from one position to another. This is important because if, like me, you record your guitars and your vocals and your other audio tracks in GarageBand, you need to be able to move them sometimes. And if I wanted to say move this guitar, what would happen in the past is sometimes you'd tap on it, you'd drag it, and then, app has become unresponsive. No good, right? So now that has been fixed. And that is a good thing. It didn't happen to me a lot, but other people have reported that it was happening. They found the bug, they fixed the bug, they squashed the bug is no more. Let's jump back over here and go into number 2, which is songs now open reliably if they contain a touch instrument using the Sweet Cream Lead Synth preset. Now, you know what we've got to do to test this. We have to create a song using this Sweet Cream Lead Synth preset. So let's jump out of here. We're going to go into my GarageBand for iOS folder. Let's go to our ideas folder. Let's create a new idea, shall we? We'll tap create song and let's build up a song. Now we need to come in here and we need to go to more sounds. Now I'm assuming, there it is. Look, I definitely wasn't testing this in the pre-show. All right, synth leads, Sweet Cream Synth Lead. Let's fire it up here. This is what it sounds like. Should we build something out here? Let's use, should we use Autoplay? Yeah, let's use some Autoplay here. Let's see Autoplay 4 and we'll build something just basic in G here. So let's hit record. Down into C. Sounds like almost a bit like MIA's Paper Planes. Not really at all. Okay, so there you go. We've recorded that in. We've got our Sweet Cream Lead Synth. And now what it's telling us is that when we close out of this one, and we'll give this one a name because my song never really works for me. Let's rename it and let's call this Sweet Cream Synth Lead. Just love the name of that instrument. And then, of course, it's moved it. There it is. So we can reopen it and everything's cool. So apparently this one particular patch in the past was causing issues. Now it's not. So yeah, there you go. We'll build around that in our demo song here, shall we? Let's go back up here to the what's new. GarageBand now reliably remains responsive after dragging an audio file from files to an audio track. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah, we want responsiveness when we're dragging files. So let us test this. To test it, we need to go in. Now, by the way, I've buried the lead on this one, but you do need to update to iPadOS 26 or iOS 26 to get access to this because some of the things it uses are things like the multi-window that we're showing here. So if we jump in here, we'll bring up our files. Here's one I prepared earlier. And what we can now do is safely and easily click, drag. No, it always does that with me. Does anyone? No thumb jam. We don't want you right now. You're awesome, but not right now. Not right now. Not like this. All right, let's try that again. We'll come back here to files and we'll drag it. Sometimes I tap on things and they open. Sometimes I double tap them. My tapping fingers, I'll tell you, as you get older, there you go. Tap, drag immediately and drop. And there you go. It's right there on the beat and it's working fine. So if we just pull ourselves out here and play just this one. Nice. And we could do that with other MP3 files as well as WAV files. Drop them on here. What's this one? This is some sort of beat. Is this going to be a drum beat here? It won't be on the beat of our track though, will it? Let's see. Let's see if we can find what tempo that is. I reckon that might be a 120 BPM tempo. Let's just change our tempo here. No, it must be like 130 or 140. I don't know why I'm doing this part of it, but you know what? While you're demonstrating this sort of thing, you might as well be making music. No, I reckon it's 140. Maybe it's 140. 140. This is why you should label your loops, folks, so that people using them can find it. Yeah, I reckon it's that. Let's try this. Yeah, let's build a track with this, because I like that sound, and I like this one. Let's loop that out, and let's loop this out. I don't think it'll sit in with our original synth. No, it won't. So we're going to have to re-record that synth. I know, we should be getting to the next thing because we've got a lot to get through here, but I'm having too much fun. You know, when you start playing things and you just want to do things. So let's come back here. So what key is this? Record that in. All right, record. Nice. All right. I don't know. You gotta have fun when you're doing these sort of things, don't you? Let's go back to Safari and find our next thing. So it also resolves an issue where GarageBand would quit unexpectedly when connecting to a Bluetooth device. Now, this one was a pain. If you saw my recent video where I was mixing a track, we'll go back to full screen here now. Full screen. Still getting used to the little traffic lights here. If you're mixing a track, I did a video recently where I mixed a track using just my Apple AirPods, and it worked great, except that when I had them in, there they are. I had them in and I turned on GarageBand. It just wouldn't load. It just said, nope, not happening, not loading, try again. So what you have to do is, what you used to have to do is disconnect your Bluetooth device, load into GarageBand, reconnect it, and it would usually work, sometimes not. But that has now, thankfully, been fixed. By the way, I'm using the Magic Keyboard here and I'm command tabbing to go between the windows, which works pretty well, except as you see there, it keeps zooming back out on my notes here. All right, accessibility. Always great to see new accessibility features, and VoiceOver now correctly reads out the state of the record button in the track header. Now, if you've never used VoiceOver, and look, I have, but not very much, it just means that when you're moving around, navigating around using VoiceOver with your voice, it will actually tell you where it is. And what it used to do is not tell you whether record was enabled or not, which is obviously pretty fundamentally important when you're actually recording. So that's a good thing. That's fixed, and that's great for our vision impaired folks using the VoiceOver accessibility feature. Next, drummer. This one, as soon as I saw it, so drummer characters can now be changed by swiping their picture. When I first saw this, I was like, is this something that we needed? And then I thought, oh, it's actually kind of fun. Because like for this one, so we're putting together this little project here. So let's hit plus and we'll go to the drummer and we'll do a little demo. So we'll go to drummer. Now I would want an electronic drummer for this kind of track. So we'll tap on electronic drummer. It's going to give us Leah by default if we play. And what we can do is actually swipe to the right and swipe to the left and go between our different drummers, which is kind of cool. So if we go all the way to the left, let's go all the way back to, all right. And when you get like right to Julian, it's going to go to a different type of drummer. So it brings you back out here so that you can select acoustic or percussion. So Julian's our first. So we'll just move around from Julian and we can kind of preview these guys as we play through. So let's hit play and swipe. It did swap. Okay, so it did go to Anders there. It swapped over to Anders, but if we swipe back, so it must just be when you tap too long, like if you tap right on without swiping. So it can actually swipe between electronic and acoustic drummers. It just has to do a little kajigger there. But it's cool because I reckon, yeah, like Magnus sounds the best for this particular track. So now we can, we'll just delete out that end bit. Delete, because we're just doing this loop. So now we've got Magnus. in our track. Very cool. Let's close out of it and save, just to make sure that the Sweet Cream synth lead is not causing problems. And look at that, it is not. All of you Sweet Cream lead synth fans are going to be so happy that you can now use the sweet... Okay, I'm going to stop saying it. Next up, plugins. Dragging and dropping audio files onto the sampler now works reliably. Unlike Apple's release notes, which do not work reliably because that's not related to plugins at all. And it's also mentioned down the bottom here, I believe, under General. Yeah, it's now possible to drag an audio files from files to the sampler, and it works properly, which is up here under plugins. So we will show that, but I'll show that later in the correct section, okay? Next up, sound library. Loading the Echo Wah preset in the guitar amp no longer causes GarageBand screen to go blank. Well, that's good. The Echo Wah in the guitar amp. So if we came in here and we went to adding an amp and adding a guitar amp, back to my main categories, guitar... And I think the Echo Wah is processed. Is it? There it is. So it was this particular amp sim. It would just go blank, which is no good. Because you can't wah. You can't push your wah pedal when you've got a blank screen. You need to be able to wah. Now, I don't have a guitar plugged in, so we won't be wahing today, but we could if we wanted to. In fact, you know what we could do? We could do my little trick hack. We don't have time for this, Johns. I don't care. We're doing it anyway. So what you can actually do is if we play in a guitar with the keyboard here, so if we come in here to more sounds, here you go. Who said you wouldn't get tips here as well? And we just choose like the classic clean guitar here. We can actually play it in. All right, the first time round wasn't good, but the second time was okay. So what you can actually do, if you've never done this before, if you're playing like your clean guitar here, your virtual guitar, we can actually wire this up. We can put this down on or up on the guitar amp, not by just dragging it, because it'll say, no, you need audio region, right? But if we merge it, so if we tap here on the guitar and we hit merge, it'll actually merge this one down, like so, into an audio track, and then we stick it on our guitar amp, and look at this, you get... And it doesn't sound great, but you can do it. That's the main thing. Let's get back to the list. So, projects that include the moving sound preset in Alchemy no longer unexpectedly display missing sound alert when open. Moving sound preset. So, an Alchemy preset. So, let's see if we can find Alchemy Synth, and the moving sound. It's going to be very hard to find this particular one because there's so many different things in here. Is it under Synth, under Alchemy? Moving sound. I just like to validate these things, yeah, if we can. No, it's not in there either. It's in there somewhere, trust me. Somewhere in here there would be moving sound as one of our things. There's moving meditation. It's not that one, but it could be. Well, like that. I'll leave that there to play around with later. So that's a good thing. That has been fixed. Automation. Automation got some love, and it's in a few different sections, but we'll start here with volume automation. Curves are now properly included when duplicating a track. Hallelujah. So if we wanted to say, let's say we use some automation to bring Magnus up here at the start of this track, because we want to. We'll go to automation, and we'll add an automation curve by tapping, and so we want it to come in by bar 3, and then we will turn that off and pull down the start here. So now when this ramps up, ohs noes. Why is that not coming in softly? Hang on. There it goes. You heard it too, didn't you? When we were playing it, it wasn't coming up softly. Okay, there's another bug. I thought they'd fix this one. But yeah, sometimes what you need to do is actually put in an extra point. And then maybe it'll work? No, but it's working when we solo it. Listen. So when it's soloed, it's doing its thing. Unless I've got some other drum somewhere else. What if we just solo all of these? Sort of? No. Okay, so sometimes there's issues here where if this automation point is right at the start, it does that. So maybe if we just bring another point in just like that, we're finding bugs as we're squashing bugs. Nah, so weird, right? So weird. Whereas when we play it here, what am I missing? I'm missing the fact that there's still going to be bugs. There will be bugs, but that's okay. Not great when you're showing the bug fixes and you're finding new bugs. All right, changing the time signature now creates an undo step. This is good. So what used to happen in the past is if you accidentally change the time signature, just say I was in here and I was going to play with the tempo, but instead I accidentally changed this to 3/4 time and it went, everything's changed. That's not going to work, right? Because we've got our beats on the beats. Oh, you know what it was? I'm an idiot. It was this, wasn't it? It was working. What a clown. You were yelling at the screen, weren't you? So it is actually working. Forget that. All right, forgive me, Apple, for I have sinned and said you did something wrong. That's the problem. See, this was a drum. This was a drum beat as well. This audio loop that I dragged in. It's early in the morning or late at night. Who knows? We're pre-recorded here. All right, let's continue on here. So, we were changing the time signature. So my point being that now, to get back to our regular time signature, we can just hit the undo button. So it actually creates an undo thing there, which takes you back there. You used to have to come back in here and rechange the time signature. It didn't create an undo point. By the way, quick tip, tap and hold on your undo, and you can see exactly what you can undo and redo. Redo, tap and hold, undo, tap and hold. You got your redo and your undo. So there you go. There's no, people said, there's no redo. Yeah, there is. You just got to tap and hold it down. All right, next on the undo. Audio output continues to function even after undoing or a replace or take recording. Now, what is a take recording or a replacement recording? It's when you're using multi-take recording. So if we have this audio track here, we went up here and we went to track settings, recording, and turned multi-take recording on. Now, I have no microphone plugged in. Should have done that, but oh well. But if we just recorded, what it'll do is it'll record over the top and it will record another take. And there you go. So now you can see you've got that. And if we tap on this, you can actually go to... why don't we have takes there now? It just replaced it. Okay. This one is a bit weird because it should have created a second take. Let's do it again. Maybe because we didn't record the first one. Let's record again. And now it should record over that and it should give us a second take. All right, let's tap now. Now do we have takes? No, I'm doing something wrong. I'm rushing it in. Just trust us on this one, that there was a problem with takes before. Now it just seems to be a problem with the actual recording. Maybe it's because I need to actually create a whole new track and record on there. We don't have a microphone plugged in. We can't fully test it. But hey, it's fixed. So you can undo after undoing or replacing a tape recording. Audio output will continue, not crash, which is good. And toggling track volume automation now creates an undo step. So our track automation that, as we know, is working flawlessly and has no problems whatsoever, despite me saying it does, we can now actually, if you come in here, you tap it, you tap again, you go to automation, and you come in here and you toggle that on or off, off on, then it actually goes there. But what used to happen is if you, say, turned it off and you wanted it back on again, you couldn't hit the undo. Whereas now, it actually creates an undo step. So tap and hold, see, disable automation, it's there. So that's just a nice little quality of life thing. So changing time signatures and changing automation, you used to not be able to actually undo it or redo it. You used to have to go in there and manually do it again. So winning, good things are afoot. So smart instruments. Autoplay using Groove 1 with smart strings is now properly in sync when playing A minor, G minor, B minor, and B flat minor. Okay, so what does this all mean? So, and it's weird that they call it Groove 1. It's the autoplay. Groove 1 sounds a bit weird, but autoplay 1. So if we come in here and we go to strings and we load up the smart strings, it used to be that some of these, the autoplay, would not be in sync if you used a particular autoplay. Especially in those particular keys. Now it's fixed. So that's cool. So if you are a big fan of A minor, G minor, B minor, and B flat minor, yeah, it's going to stay in sync with the smart strings. MIDI, the Erhu instrument no longer exhibits hanging notes if several notes are played at once. So there used to be a problem with the Erhu, and now there's not. So if you haven't used the Erhu, it's rad. It's one of the coolest instruments here in GarageBand. So if we fire up and come across to the world instruments and tap on the Erhu, here it is, and because it's a bowed instrument, it's monophonic, yeah? I mean, technically you could bow the two strings. It's a two-string instrument. But it's designed to be played one note at a time. What would happen, though, is if you were trying to move between notes, so say I'm holding down my fingers on that one, it won't let me do it. You get these hanging notes, and that's where it's like, it just sticks in there, and that's no fun. Especially when you're doing your weird horsey one. So the Erhu is fixed. I know it's many folks' favourite world instrument, so that is a good thing. Recording. Input monitoring levels are now reliably controlled by the track level settings. Now, I'm not really going to be able to demonstrate this well because I've got an audio interface plugged in here, which means when we come in here to my microphone, mine's grayed out. But if you're using the built-in microphone, if you're using a manual, like analog microphone plugged in, you used to turn your input gain up and down and it didn't really do anything. So sometimes it wouldn't actually engage. You'd just get the one level, even though you were turning this up and down. So if you are now, you're using your wired headphones or you're using something that doesn't have its own gain control, like an audio interface does, then you do have that, and it is apparently reliable. I haven't fully tested it yet, but I'll take their word for it on that one. But yeah, I did come across this. It was annoying when you're just trying to record using the built-in mic. Yeah, getting that control over your volume gain is a good thing that has been fixed. Editing. The piano roll now shows an automation lane for sustain when the pencil is activated. So what does this mean? Well, let's come back to our sweet cream synth lead and jump into the MIDI note editor. So tap again and hit edit. It's going to open it up in our MIDI note editor. So when we hit the pencil up the top here, see how we've got sustain now? We can actually add in points of sustain properly. Now, this was a feature that's supposed to have been there. It kind of didn't work properly and went away, and now it's back. So now you can actually add in sustain. Well, or at least you could. It let me add some points, and then it stopped. Go off and back on. Can I put more points back in now? Nope. So, yeah, not working absolutely perfectly because it let me add in those points, and now when I'm tapping, it's not letting me add any more. What if we go to done and go back in? Tap, tapper, 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 tapper. So there's our sustain points. So you can move them around. And when you go to the pencil, whoop, you should be able to add them. Oh, look, we can now. But you saw that we couldn't before, right? So we added it. All right, so you can add one, but then as soon as you actually adjust the length of it, you can't add more. You can hear me, can't you? Tapper, tapper, tapper. What if I tap with my finger? No, not working. But you can go to done and then go back in. Oh dear. Am I going to have to be filling in the Apple bug report for the fixing of the bugs? So look, we can, if we go to the pencil's ready, comments. We can tap in as many as we like in terms of sustain on and off points. But then as soon as we move one, now it's making a liar out of me. It was when we extended the length of one, wasn't it? Yeah, now we can select them to delete them, but we can't add new ones in. Bye-bye. Until we go done and we go back out and go back in again. So again, little extra bug. I won't call that a bug. That's a bugette. I mean, it would be annoying if you were doing a lot of that sort of stuff. But let's be honest, how often are you going in and manually adding multiple sustain points? If you don't know what sustain is, that's that where it sustains the note. It's probably easy to show you on a piano. So if we'll just quickly play a piano, just a standard, more sounds. There's so many sounds in here now that just getting to your basic grand piano is challenging. So let's just play in. Played in our piano, and then if you edit this, it might have put some sustain in by default. We'll just open this up. So there's our sustain lane. No, it hasn't. So say we wanted sustain from the start, but all the way through this, so all these notes will kind of ring out. That's what we can do with the sustain. Now, if we had a MIDI keyboard and a sustain pedal, it would already be in there. But if we play this back now, if we just solo it, hear that sustain? Hear how it's sustaining all the way through, and if we didn't, so if we came in here and we turned the sustain, say just for the first note, and then it stops, you'll hear that it'll sound different. There's the sustain, but then it stops. So it just gives you control over the sustain. That cannot be a bad thing at all, can it? All right, let's come back out here. We will mute out that piano so that it doesn't ruin our beautiful composition we've put together here. All right, where are we at? We are at sharing. Now, this one's confused me, and I still haven't solved for it. When sharing a song as an uncompressed audio file, the sample rate now defaults to 48 kilohertz, except it doesn't. And no one's been able to correct me or tell me what I'm doing wrong with this one. It's not a case of you've got two drum tracks on there, Johns. But maybe it is something else. But here's the thing. If we come out here and we go to this one and we go to share and we share it as a song, look at this, uncompressed, 44.1 kilohertz, 24-bit. In fact, let's just share it just to show you that this is, we open in, that this is actually going to not export at 48 kilohertz. Because if I export it and then I open it in my favorite audio tool called Audio Share, some people say that I'm their favorite audio tool, but don't chish. So if we open it in Audio Share, here is our track. Are you going to play? Doesn't want to play. There it is. Beautiful. But not so beautiful is down here. 24-bit, 44,100 kilohertz, 44.1 kilohertz. So, and that was an uncompressed WAV file. So that's doing exactly what it said, but it didn't really do it. So that's a little strange. By the way, why is there a copy here? Because I did the merge. So this is the copy that doesn't have the merged track. So it'll do that to kind of save you if you've got some MIDI data that you merge down to an audio file in case you want to go back and edit it afterwards. So that's a good thing. Good thing. Protecting us from ourselves. So yeah, look, the sharing would be good if it did have that. And I don't know about defaulting to 48 kilohertz. Why not just have a 48 kilohertz option? So you can set 16-bit or 24-bit as your bit depth. Why not be able to set 44.1 or 48 kilohertz as your recording sampling rate? And if you don't know about sampling rates, don't stress too much about it. I've got videos here on the channel. Search Pete John's sampling rate and you'll learn about what it's all about. Global tracks. We're coming towards the end here. We've got a few more to go. Global tracks addresses an issue where the follow song key on-off state wasn't recognized when making a key change from major to minor. So what does this mean? Well, let's go back into GarageBand. The follow song key. So if you've got a track and you want to, I've got to find the right spot. I forgot where this is. I don't use this. I've got to be honest with you. I don't use the follow song key. I think it's in your key signatures, isn't it? Key signature? There it is. So follow song key. So with that off, if I change the key signature, the MIDI notes are not going to change. So that synth sound's not going to change if I don't change. But if I do follow song key, it will change. But sometimes what was happening is if you were changing to a minor, it wouldn't work. So it wouldn't actually match the key change if you're going from a minor or a major. So see how major to minor, it has to actually change the notes because it's a different key, right? You want to play it in a major key, you want to play it in a minor key. So that's a good thing. The follow song key now actually works and functions as it should by making sure that your MIDI instruments follow the song key, hence the clever name. Follow the song key. All right, down to general. What have we got in the general settings? GarageBand now continues to output audio when the sound recognition accessibility setting is enabled in your device. Settings, accessibility, sound and name recognition. This is important. And again, if you've never been in here, you probably haven't. If you're not vision impaired or if you don't use the accessibility, that's totally cool. But if you're ever looking for it, come in here to the accessibility settings. There's a heap of them in here. Now, which one specifically did it say this was related to? Sound and name recognition. So the easiest way I find to find things is to actually just search for them. Sound and name. There it is. Sound and name recognition. So if this... Now, where is it? Down here. If this had been turned on, then it was going to interrupt the audio. Basically, the way that iOS and iPadOS audio works is that it's kind of only like one audio in and out. So sometimes when it's using the audio for one thing, and I have this problem, I'm having like a phone call or like a FaceTime call with someone, and then Siri will jump in and say, like I say, I'm out walking, it'll be like, oh, you've just completed. So, no, I'm not talking to you. Sorry. Buggerlugs will jump in and say to me, did you know that you've just completed your kilometre in 11.4 minutes per kilometre? And it cuts out my audio. And the person's like, hello. And it's like, it's very annoying. So it's a good thing there. Siri's still listening. Buggerlugs is still listening to me. Turn off. It's okay. Shh. All right. Next up, when zoomed into the tracks area, dragging the playhead no longer unexpectedly enables auto-scroll. Hallelujah. This was the biggest, most annoying bug in the history of the world. Okay, not quite, but it was pretty annoying. So what happened here is in the past, see how when you tap, it will auto-center. Now, that's handy because obviously if I'm coming down here and I want to edit this part, I want it to actually come down and center down there. And if I come back to here, I want it to move around like that. What was happening, though, is when you tapped and dragged the playhead to try and, say, precisely drop onto bar 6, it was auto-centering as you go. So it was rocking back and forwards, and there was virtually no way, apart from lining it up and just tapping on it, to actually get the right spot. So what we were having to do is zoom right on in, and then because you couldn't move the playhead like we can now, you'd have to line it up and if you just missed it by a pixel, oh no. So that is fixed now. That is good. That's a good apple. Thank you for the fix. We appreciate you getting that one sorted out. Audio in GarageBand now continues to function if audio unit extension plugins are deleted from the currently active song. Now, I don't know whether this means deleted, you delete the plugin as in delete the app, it'll keep going, or what I'm thinking it is saying is if you delete audio extension plugins are deleted from the currently active song. So currently active song, I can't quite get my head around what this means, but let's just pretend that on this drum track that we now remember is a drum track here, say we want to add a plugin. So, you'd come in here and you'd add in a third-party plugin, boom. Let's just say we want to put on, what's the first one that comes here that might make sense to put on here? The chorus, Rob Jackson's chorus sound. I think that might sound pretty rad on here. What's it going to do? Yeah. So if I then went into my app store and deleted that plugin, it would continue to actually work, I guess. It wouldn't stop playing the audio. Or it could mean if I delete it from here. But I've done that before and it's worked fine. So, hey, we don't always have to understand these bug fixes as long as they're fixing things that people were clearly having because, by the way, quick public service announcement, report your bugs, folks. I've showed you how to do it here on the channel a bunch of times. Again, you can search Pete John's bug report if you want to find out how to. It's very, very easy. Go to the Apple webpage, log your ticket, put a bug fix in there, or put even a suggestion. And while you're there, put a suggestion for a slider to enable and disable auto normalization. Can you do that for me? The more of us that do it as a feature request, maybe one day it will actually happen. Every time I look at the stability improvements and bug fixes, I'm like, is it today? Can it be today? And it never is, but we can dream, can't we? And if you don't know what that's all about, don't stress too much, except just know that every time you export your GarageBand tracks, they are automatically normalized up to maximum volume, which is good in some cases and really terrible if you say want to master them. All right, now, the last one, which I'd already mentioned, but it's now mentioning again, it's now possible to drag an audio file from files to the sampler. Yeah, you heard, you can do this. So the sampler, if you've never used it before, it's kind of rad. So we come in here to your keyboard instrument, and under keyboard is sampler. Fire it up here. You've got your bark, and you used to have to come in here and use the import here to actually import it from your GarageBand files transfer folder, which I kind of buried the lead on before, but we no longer need to use this. So unless you're using Apple Loops, we don't need to import our files into the GarageBand file transfer folder and then bring them across into here. We can now drag and drop. So if we grab the bottom corner here and move it up here, look, we've got our little thing underneath here. So let's grab this sample. Now here's what's weird. I find this a little non-intuitive. I would have thought you drag your sample. Oh, I've done it again. Drag your sample and drop it on here. You don't. You drop it up here. See how it says up there? Sampler track. This will create a new sampler instrument. And in fact, I think, you do need to do it that way. So let's come back over here. Let's full screenify this and go away. There we go. And see what happened. So it's working, right? Working, except why does it still look like it's the bark? Well, this is something I found that's a bit weird. Once you've done that, you have to click off and click back on again, and then it's the right one. And the other thing is, sometimes it won't let you grab the end there. So if you wanted to trim this sample, you should be able to grab the end there, and it's not letting you grab that end there. And what you tend to have to do is, now it's not working on either side. It's making a fool. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's right. I always do the wrong thing. I try to grab it down here, which is where it feels like it should be, but sometimes you first have to grab it up here to do it, like just touch anywhere in the actual waveform to start the process, but then it will let you do it from down here. So there's still some clinks and clunks in here, so we can do that. And now we can use this as our sampler. Can you use Autoplay with a sampler? No, that's the arpeggiator. You can do it in an arpeggiator. I didn't realize you could do an arpeggiator sampler. I kind of like that. Let's record that in. Doesn't really work for this particular track, but that's a cool kind of backbeat. Okay, stop messing around now. But yeah, it's fun to learn new things. But again, it's still a bit clunky, isn't it? So let's just do this again just to show what I mean. So sampler, go to our files and just let it float over there this time. And let's drag in this one, jump it on the sampler track, and then it's playing it, but it's not showing it. So it's just a bit weird because then you have to go off, back on again. Now it's showing it. And once again, this time it's decided to work fine. So this time I can just grab that and drag it, and it's going to be able to go to the end. So that's cool. Look, it's not perfect. And again, a few little buggy bits in there, but it does just mean that it's a lot easier. You can just have your folders with all your samples and loops loaded up here, and then whether you're dragging them onto a track to create a new track like that, if you want the actual audio, or if you want to drag it onto a sampler track, then it will become the sampled instrument, which is kind of cool. It's easier. It's a little quality of life thing. You could do all those same things, but you'd have to use your GarageBand file transfer folder, or you'd have to use the import method on the sampler. Now, you don't have to, and that's a good thing as well. What have we created? If we re-enable everything here, what have we actually got? Pandemonium, but that's okay. We've had a fun time along the way. Let's go back. I think we've covered it, have we? Yes, we have. We've covered all of the different things. So there you are. Completionists, if you wanted to know absolutely everything that has changed in GarageBand 2.3.18, now you know. And it's time for you to go and update. Should you update, though? I've actually started updating all of my devices. We've got iOS and iPadOS 26.1, so it's safe. It's as safe as it's going to be, almost. So we've had the 01 and 02 updates. We've now got the .1. And I've always said that if you are conservative, you wait till the .1 update. If you're super conservative, wait till .1.1. So, because sometimes going for the whole point, yeah. So if you're still in the middle of a big project, say you're about to finish off a song, your final mix, your final master, it's all about to be done, now is not the time to update. Just leave it out. But yeah, if you are just wanting to check out this stuff, and look, these changes, especially the quality of life stuff and the ability to drag and drop your files, is great. And look, for the non-auto centering alone, I would update for that. But yeah, the automation stuff's working a lot better. And even though there's a few little niggles in there, and even though Pete didn't understand the automation, that is all working fine and dandy. But there's always going to be these little things, because it's code upon code upon code. And again, not to get too nerdy and geeky, but hey, you're at the end of a 40-minute video about a very small update. So you're in the geek zone right now. But it's built upon code upon code upon code. And the person that put the first bit of code in that built GarageBand version 1 may or may not even be there still. And I don't know if you know this about coders, don't always leave the greatest amount of notes or notations in their code. So there's probably some code in there that does some stuff that no one knows what it is or how it works. So that is the thing that you do also need to keep in mind. But hey, if you're a GarageBand user, this is a good update. And I'm surprised that they don't sort of push these out with a bit more fanfare, as opposed to just it's bug fixes and stability improvements. And I don't know whether part of that is that they don't want to say, yeah, we had an awful lot of bugs in that last version. It was buggy. So maybe that's the thing. But even just the, hey, I would go out there. If I'm Apple marketing, I go out there with GarageBand is now fully enhanced for drag and drop in iPadOS and iOS 26. Hooray, hallelujah. And I still don't get that 48 kilohertz thing. So if someone can explain that to me, please, I want to know. Try it yourself. See if you can get anything out of GarageBand that's 48 kilohertz, please try. Maybe I need to import a file at 48 kilohertz and then export it and see if that works. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, thanks for watching this one. If you haven't already, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. You can find some links in the description. In fact, there's a heap of them about GarageBand. My 5-minute tips series is a great place to start. It goes through absolutely everything. You're looking at the synths, and you're looking at audio recorders, you're looking at drummer, you're looking at drums, you're looking at sampler. I cover all of those, and in enough detail to get you into trouble, enough details that you can get in, watch one 5-minute video, go and play with it, and then come back and watch another one. That's the way I like to learn, is in little chunks. I think if you're trying to boil the ocean, it can be too challenging. So go and check those out right now. And until next time, folks, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and keep creating. I'll see you soon.